For the first time in Mike McDaniel's tenure, the Miami Dolphins missed the playoffs in 2024. A brutal reality check. A season that started with fireworks fizzled into disappointment. And now, the offseason looms with hard questions and tougher decisions. No, this isn't a total teardown. The core remains. Most of the key pieces are still under contract. But that doesn't mean this team can just run it back and hope for a different outcome. That formula, it's expired. The cracks in the foundation have been exposed, and ignoring them won't make them disappear. Miami is staring down one of the worst salary cap situations in the NFL. A team built on speed and explosiveness suddenly feels heavy, weighed down by contracts that no longer match production. If they want to be aggressive in free agency or even retain crucial depth, moves have to be made. Some will be painful, some will be inevitable. And then there's Tyreek Hill. That brief, chaotic moment where he floated the idea of a trade sent shockwaves through the fan base. He backtracked, sure, but does that mean everything is fine? Or is this just the calm before another storm? Even if Hill stays, this roster is due for an overhaul. The front office can't afford another quiet offseason. 2 years of minor tweaks haven't been enough. If this team wants to take that next step, if they want to be something more than a regular season highlight reel, the changes have to be significant. At full strength, Miami's offense is terrifying. Speed at every position. A quarterback who, when protected, can carve up defenses with precision. Playmakers who turn routine slants into 60-yard touchdowns. But that's the problem. At full strength rarely exists. Tua Tagovailoa has been at the center of the discussion, but he's not the only one struggling to stay on the field. Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Terron Armstead, even Hill, all have battled injuries at key moments. When this unit clicks, they look unstoppable. When injuries hit, the drop-off is brutal. And let's be real, it's not just about health. Consistency has been an issue. Too many games where the offense disappears. Too many second halves where the fireworks from the first 2 quarters fade into stalled drives and missed opportunities. So what now? Run it back and just hope for better luck? Or make real adjustments? 9 years. That's how long it took for Raheem Mostert to truly establish himself as a legitimate starting running back. And when he did, he delivered. A 1,000-yard season. Tied Christian McCaffrey for the most touchdowns in the league with 21. The reward? A small contract extension that technically keeps him under team control through 2025. But here's the issue. Mostert's age is working against him. He entered 2024 at 32 years old, making him one of the oldest starting running backs in the league. And as history has shown, running backs don't age gracefully in the NFL. The injuries returned. The workload decreased. And by the end of the season, he wasn't the featured guy anymore. Devon Achane took over. The speedster was electric in 2023 and took on an even bigger role in 2024. The numbers told the story. Achane played 62% of the team's offensive snaps, compared to Mostert's 24%. Then came the 2024 draft. Miami used a 4th-round pick on Jalen Wright, a younger, faster, and fresher option who fits perfectly into McDaniel's offensive vision. A quiet move at the time, but one that speaks volumes about the direction of this backfield. So where does that leave Mostert? A 33-year-old backup on an expensive deal. A player who brings value, but at a cost the Dolphins may not be able to justify. The reality? His contract is easy to move on from this offseason. A logical, even predictable cut. A move that would free up cap space for areas of greater need. And if that happens, who takes his place? Miami doesn't need a workhorse. Achane is the guy. But they do need someone who can complement him. A bigger back who can grind out short yardage situations and handle physical goal line carries. And this is the perfect offseason to find one. Najee Harris is set to hit the open market after an underwhelming stint with the Steelers. He never quite lived up to his first-round draft status, but in a reduced role, as a short yardage hammer, he could be a perfect fit. Other options? A.J. Dillon, Nick Chubb, Alexander Mattison, Kareem Hunt, Dante Foreman. Some of them bring injury concerns, others are past their prime. But the goal isn't to find a star. It's to find a role player who can help round out the backfield at a reasonable price. Among them, Foreman and Dillon likely make the most sense. Veterans who won't demand big contracts, but still have enough left in the tank to contribute in meaningful situations. This offseason is going to test the Dolphins' front office. There's no room for passive decision-making. No room for half measures. The message should be clear. Standing still isn't an option. Cap casualties are coming. Some fan favorites may not be here when the season kicks off in 2025. That's the cost of failing to take the next step. The question is, will Miami make the necessary changes? Or will they gamble on continuity and hope for different results? Because one thing is certain, this roster, as currently constructed, hasn't been good enough. And running it back without real changes? That's not a plan. That's wishful thinking.